That's way better. Oh, I didn't know. See, no, sorry. You're the king. Number one in the room. You You're the next time the picture. You're part of the journey. That's all. That thing you did it. What it does, what it does. The paper that just put it back. What what shit shit on that? Uh-oh. What do you hear? We are here. Toledo.
Hello?
Unmute. Unmute. Unmute.
Oh, there you go. You're good. You're good.
Holy moly. Does it work? I had a call from tech support here. Thank you. Thank you. Holy cow.
Hey, guess who's here?
Hey, look, Mom's here.
Mama?
She was here. She fixed it.
Mama?
She was in the break room at work, possibly the bathroom, and it worked. So none of that worked. I was told you couldn't hear anything I said from the start. Now, what is up with that? But yeah, no, we had our Epic RV Adventure. Michael called to straighten that out. What a bummer. So I just, again, thank you everybody for being here. I'm just going to real quick, since you didn't hear a thing I said, we really want to thank everyone for being here. Timmy Ray the King. Will, I got the mouse, please. Thank you. Timmy Ray the King, Bob's Adventure, Van Life with Gina Payne, our Epic RV Adventure, who called me and said, dude, we haven't heard anything you just said. Scott Jacobs in appreciation, RV Media Creators who tipped me off, Linda Barker, Scott Jacobs, Camping Therapy. We'll put the mouse down. Buddy Dog, my brother. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. But anyway, we got through. We said hello to everybody. RV Weekends, thanks for being here. K&R Destinations, thanks so much for being here. I need to figure out how to give you guys the wrench, but I figure I got bigger problems right now. Jeez. Light Beamer. Hello, Mr. Pat. Natasha's dad. How you doing? Art of RVing. Thanks for being here. This was an April Fool's joke, guys. April Fools. Do you hear me now? Yes. Ryan, Becky, thanks for being here. So look at that. You know, the funny thing is, this morning I was doubting my abilities. And I was saying, you know what, maybe we should just skip the shows on the weekend she works. Because that's just, I don't know.
Epic fails.
Epic fail. I saw Box Van D is here. Thanks for being here, Box Van D. Look at all these great shows, these great channels. I know today, later, we have Ms. Beyond Beauty 3. I think she's doing fast food trivia. And rock, paper, scissors, which sounds interesting. How do you do rock, paper, scissors over a webcam? It's interesting. You'll have to go there and check it out. We have Box Van D. After that, we have our Epic RV Adventure. Little karaoke. And then we have meant to be our being, I want to say, doing the late show.
Hello.
Late show, those crazy guys. Hello, following the Yellow Brick Road. Thanks for being here. So anyway, what have we been up to this week? Not a whole lot. Natasha's on her 4th day of working 4 days in a row. And kids and I have been hanging out. Bella had an interesting opportunity. Yesterday, someone came and knocked on the door. And there's another travel nurse family here, and I heard it was the dad of that family, and Will was outside playing. So immediately, the first thing that popped in my head was, oh, God, what did Will do now? What did he do? They're coming here to say, your kid did this or that. But no, he came in. He was like, hey, I don't know if your daughter is old enough yet, but their son is 9 or 7.
10.
Same age as our son. They're like, how do you feel about your daughter babysitting? So Natasha and I discussed it and decided to go for it. Hey, Slow Momentum, did I say hello to you? Not sure.
Say hello to K&R Destinations.
K&R, I did. I do recall saying hello to them because I wanted to figure out something else. I'll do that later. But lo and behold, she had her first babysitting gig last night. How'd it go, Bella?
It was fun.
It was fun. Basically, they hung out. Natasha and I, it's kind of like a glorified play date because they just kind of hung out. But
Playing Mario Kart.
she made herself proven to be trustworthy, so that's good. Other than that, not much going on. We do have some plans in the works to head up to Chicago for a weekend, meet my brother and my niece up there. And I do know one of these weekends we're going to head to St. Louis to meet a fellow YouTuber also. So that is going to be fun. Posh Cats Camping. Hello, Trev. Thanks for being here. I'm going to try to be more chill. But Natasha's not here, so you never know. But anyway, so every time Natasha's working, I try to find somebody that at least I'm familiar with, and we can banter back and forth. And we try to have a subject that is meaningful and useful to others. So I always try to think of who can I talk to? Who can I talk to? So I thought of my our friend Ed that I can bring on here. Don't forget to take your cut of the babysitting money. That's right. Let's go, Bella. I need my cut.
$2.
12.5%.
$1. You get 1 penny.
1 penny. I'll take it. I'll take it. Over the Hill RV. Hello there. If I get to that point in the show where I just start saying hi to people again, I'm just overly friendly. But anyway, we could bring him on. Ed, if you're ready, wave at me, give me a thumbs up, and we'll bring you up. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ed Wilcox. Hello, sir.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Super. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day up here in sunny Connecticut.
Heck yeah. Trying to read what that says in the background.
Which one? End white silence
Yes.
or release the need? I'm in Liz's office, so.
And white eye links. That's what it looks like.
Eye links? Oh, yeah, that's definitely. Illnesses and illnesses.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. So Ed here, our family met their family, I think first in Madison, Florida, had a full-time families meetup.
Yep.
And we've hung out since one other time.
We
That I recall.
watch baseball.
Baseball in Tampa, Florida.
Let me tell you, those are the smallest rows I've ever sat in for an extended period of time.
Yes. That's the one downside for me of going to baseball games is I don't really fit. But
Yeah,
I had fun.
it was a good time.
It was a good time. We try to go to as many baseball stadiums as possible. And before we went, my brother said that's the worst, known as the worst stadium in the league.
Huh.
Which, I don't know.
What's your favorite one that you've been to?
What was that?
What's your favorite that you've been to?
Oh, well, probably Citi Field. That's my favorite team where the Mets play. So, and it's New York City. It was much excitement.
Yes.
So that was good. But Ed is here today for a purpose. I guess we'll get to that in a second. Ed, tell us about yourself and your family.
Well, myself, I'm a Capricorn. I do enjoy getting caught in the rain. I like virgin pina coladas. No, I did some time in the military. I'm a combat veteran. Got out of the Army. We owned an RV. I had to fix the RV, so I went to go learn how to fix them. And just kind of went from there. Was fixed RVs for a while, and I don't know. It's been a crazy couple of years since I got out of the Army. But no, we're just a military family. I got out, and Liz and Chelsea, my wife and daughter. I mean, just a simple man.
I love it. What was I don't know the terminology. What was your job or your duty in the Army?
So in the Army, the first half of it, I set up missiles. I set up Patriot missiles. And the second half of it, I was an air traffic controller.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Is that all in the same realm, in the same category? No.
No.
Like cross training and.
It was when I hit 4 years, I had the option to re-enlist with a reclassification because I was in a job that was over strength. So I switched over from Patriot missiles to air traffic control.
Nice. Hello, Rhonda. Thanks for being here.
Help me, Rhonda.
Rhonda. So I know you and your wife have your hands kind of dipped into all sorts of different things. Is there anything you wish to promote that we can try to get our moderators, if we have any, to promote throughout the show?
That I'd like to promote. Well, we've got our course, the Fix It Yourself course, which is over on the virtual campground. That's there for purchase. It's if you want to learn how to fix some things and get some more, deeper knowledge into your coach or into some of the systems of the coach. There's always that. Liz has a book. It's a bunch of crappy stories. Or the virtual campground has a book. It's called what's it called?
Tales from the Black Tank.
Tales from the Black Tank. That's right.
Yes.
I'm not very immersed in the virtual campground world. I was kind of more on the side of that one.
Yeah, you were the star of the show. We ourselves are part of the Fix It Yourself purchasers,
Ah, you were part of the
customers. Yeah, there we go.
Well, thank you much.
Yes, so you are the star of the show, and we always we were talking about it the other day, and I said, it's good to have. We use it as more like a manual, where we'll go and we'll say, well, I know there's a video about this. Let's go watch it.
Right.
And we get to learn, and we get to laugh because Ed's more than mildly entertaining.
It's dry. It's quite dry.
Yeah.
It's like dad jokes, but like, I don't know. It's like a different level of dad jokes.
Yeah. No, I enjoy it very much. So so there you go. We got your do it yourself program. Now you guys, or Liz, your wife, that was the virtual campground was her baby that's been built up, and now it's been passed on to somebody.
It's been handed off. The torch has been handed off. A different life will be breathed into the virtual campground. Liz has been doing copywriting. She has been killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, she tells me about like the different stuff that she does and how much she's actually doing, and I don't know how she had she must have more hours than everybody else.
Right. I don't know exactly what she does, but I do know that she's the hardest working lady in show business or something like that.
She is a very hard worker, and she is going places. Yes.
Yes. Lynn Leoki, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. So as you said, you guys, at one point you were full-time RVers?
Yes. We did full-time for, I think, 2 years. And then we parked the RV in Tampa while I was going to school to fix airplanes.
So how much stuff broke on your RV before you decided it was a good idea to learn how to fix them a little bit?
So we moved from New York to Alabama, and when we moved, the house that we were going to buy fell through, like right as we were moving. It was days before we moved down. But we were still moving anyway. There was no stopping us from moving. So we came down, and then we were trying to figure out what we were going to do for housing. And then jokingly, we thought about an RV. And so we went and looked. We drove around, went to Camping World, all the different dealerships, and, browsed the wares, so to speak. And on the way home, we drove by this rando horse trailer place, and they had this giant fifth wheel. So, we negotiated with them. They delivered it. And when we got it, the water heater worked. So I was fiddling with the wiring in the water heater, and I got to work. I was like, oh, is that it? People pay people a lot of money to do this?
Yeah, right.
Why don't I do that? I mean,
Right.
so I found a school. I found the school that I ended up going to, Recreational Vehicle Service Academy. It is a fantastic school, very small classes, inexpensive. If you like to work with your hands and you've got a GI Bill and you've got money just like hanging out in your GI Bill, it is, especially if you live in an RV and you can schedule yourself in a class, you'll learn enough there to be able to fix your own as well as, other people's stuff later on.
Yeah. So that is good. So you did that. You finished your training. You were working as a tech, and then you said, I need to learn something completely different here. So you took a turn somewhere.
Well, we were in Alabama, and we were kind of getting fed up with being in Alabama. And, I started looking at different school options. And, I don't remember how we landed on Tampa, but ended up I found this school, and it was in Tampa, and I was like, this could work. And with the GI Bill, it really does make it possible in the RV sense to really save some serious money. So we parked at an RV park and moved to Tampa, and I started school. We moved, and then I think it was 3 days after we moved, I started school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it was school for aviation mechanic, or what is the?
Yep, to get my airframe and power plant license from the FAA.
Awesome. So you know it all. You know cars, then you know RVs.
Well,
now you know planes.
I know enough about all of it to get myself in enough trouble to have to call somebody else.
About trains, that'd be amazing. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't really have a whole lot of diesel knowledge. I think if I was to go to school again, it would either be diesel or welding. I feel like those are the two biggest holes in my skill set: are diesel and welding and fabrication.
Gotcha. Hello, American Wanderer. Thanks for being here. And looks like Beyond Beauty came in. We already talked. The show right after us is Beyond Beauty. Looks like I think she's doing fast food trivia and rock, paper, scissors tonight. It's always entertaining. So that's kind of the point of this here. If anyone has any questions to ask about planes, trains, and automobiles, about RV maintenance, if you have a specific question, we could even bring you up if you want to, or about planes, or about Ed in general.
I can answer a lot of questions. I mean, I can answer. There's a lot of interesting information buried beneath this hair.
Yes. But I should have had my notes up and ready.
That's okay.
We can now I have my phone, and I have texts, calls, people saying, your sound doesn't work, dude.
Sound doesn't work. Why isn't it working? But one of those is for me. I didn't call you, though.
What are you going to do, man?
Well, no, because I was like, does he not know that his sound isn't working?
That's terrible. Terrible news.
Terrible.
So here's a question. What do you do?
What do you now? That's a very broad question. What do you mean? What do I do?
I'm guessing with all of this information that you've learned and soaked into your brain, what is your path? What are you doing right now?
So currently, we moved back to my dad's house. We're taking the detour. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going on. But I'm working at a farm, a flower farm in Connecticut, and I fix, I mow. They say, hey, that over there needs to be done. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my job. They say, oh, the grass grew over the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I just drive around and make the grass shorter. There's something about lawn mowing. I really wish it paid a little bit more, but it is just so peaceful. Just sitting out there, listening to whatever you're listening to. You could listen to Johnny Cash or the Alkaline Trio or some Megadeth or whatever you want to listen to, whatever or an audiobook or Dane Cook or the Bible or whatever you want to listen to. You can do anything. And then you just sit out there riding along. I was mowing a field last week or the week before, and all the swallows were coming down and like swooping to get all the bugs that I had disturbed. I mean, it's my zen. I love mowing. So that's what you do when you get a lot of information, is you end up mowing yards.
Yeah. Well, the kind of crappy thing, so we were chatting before this, is there's a huge reason why you're not really working on planes right now.
Yes. So the big thing that I learned and began to understand was there's a bug. There's a lot of liability involved with aircraft maintenance. For instance, if there's a tire that's 5 psi low, you have to write a maintenance entry for and sign your life and your license away. No, thank you.
Right.
I don't want that kind of stress in my life. When I hear about, Boeing, blah, 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 plane crashed over the coast of Bali Bali or wherever it crashes. I don't want to have to think, oh, was that one of mine?
Right.
No, I don't want that. I'll go mow grass. Inconsequential. I'm just making some rich dude happy by having his order. My life is easy and it's amazing.
Isn't that terrible? Artists on the road, thanks for being here. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like people talk about, like, you don't have that with cars. Like, people talk about the difference between, like, cars and RVs all the time. Like, I don't have to get on a wait list to take my car to the shop to get work done. And it's going to sit there for months for them to work on it. And if a mechanic works on my brakes or on our tires in Connecticut, and we're driving down the road and a tire falls off, they're not accountable. Comes back to us or whoever. It's nobody's fault.
But see, here's the thing. When your tire goes dead, the worst case scenario is you go off the road and like roll into a ditch and like burn in a fiery Mephisto flame. That is worst case scenario. But think about this. What's worst case scenario if something inside of the engine explodes on an airplane?
Right.
Every person on that bird is going to die. Not only are they going to die, wherever it ends up hitting the ground, anything in that area is also going to die. I don't know if there's a memorial in Pennsylvania. It was the 9/11 memorial that they flew the plane into the ground and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the wreckage that they had there was just immense, and that just hit the ground.
Right. Yep.
So I mean,
it's true.
Every plane that takes off has to come down.
Yep.
And that's why it's so much liability, is because every time somebody straps himself in the seat and they say prepare for takeoff, all of those lives are now in my responsibility or in my purview. So I don't want that.
Right. All right, Will's coming to the rescue. Apparently you should plug in your laptop if you're doing a live. That's a good idea.
Oh, let me check and see if this is plugged in. It's a good point. I'm plugged in.
All right. Hopefully everything's still working.
How come y'all ain't RVing? I couldn't stand it. I'm gonna be real with you. The moving around, the constant moving was not for me. I'm the one who I'm the one who stalled it when we went to school, but ultimately no. Nope, I can't handle it.
So you're selling the RV, right? Is it still in Tampa, or did you bring it?
It's not in Tampa. It's in Crestview. Crestview, yeah. It's in Crestview, and Liz, I believe, will be in contact with the RV within the next 2 weeks. So she's going to be, I believe, taking it for a trip.
Ah, gotcha. So if anybody wants a fine, well worked on RV, no.
I fixed everything that was actually wrong with it, or anything that was dangerous.
Yes.
So you know how people say like the mechanic's car is always the worst?
Right.
Yep. That is 100% true. That is more than 100% true. That's the most true statement on earth. Anybody who does that job, they don't do it for themselves. Like, I've noticed, like, cooks don't cook, and hair cutters don't cut hair, masseuses don't massage. You know, there was a whole episode of Seinfeld about Jerry's girlfriend who would not give him a massage because it was a masseuse. And, she, you know, so.
It's true.
I don't know how to get off on that tangent.
That's funny. I would say that reminded me of one of my questions, but I'll just ask it anyway. So you're talking about everything that you felt comfortable fixing. I was thinking of just RV tech wise. We'll start on the other flip side first.
Okay.
Are there easiest things in the world to do on your RV that people take it to the shop to get done and pay hundreds of dollars for?
Water heaters, mostly. Water heaters are generally something wiggly or something not wiggly. It's usually the fire won't stay. Like water heaters are super simple. Furnaces are a little bit more simple, but they're still it's all the same. All of the different pieces, they have gas valve make propane come out, propane turn into fire, fire something. That's all it is. I mean, everything is just we're using propane to heat something. So they're all really the propane. How the propane is fed into each one of these appliances is very similar. So that, as long as you understand that, then the propane side of it is fine. I mean, I had to charge a guy once. So be me, 10 o'clock at night. It was like, it was in between Christmas and Thanksgiving. I'm tired. Like I said, it's 10 o'clock. Guy calls me. He says, hey, I just got home from work and my furnace will not kick on. And it was cold. It was cold. It was in Montgomery, Alabama. So he's like, hey, can you come out? I was like, dude, I got to charge you a service call. It doesn't matter what it is. I have to at least charge you a service call. And he's like, all right, no problem. You know, just I'll see you when you get here. I get there, and all I did was light the stove to move the propane further into the line, and then the furnace kicked right off. I've changed fuses. I've had to charge people like $50 for a fuse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because certain places, if you charge one person and you don't charge somebody else, then some people will get offended and some people won't. So depending on the park, you have to charge everybody exactly the same. Some places, you can charge whatever you want. It's really kind of, you got to feel that whole thing out.
Right.
But I can't, there was the park that I lived in, so I couldn't not charge the guy because this was during Hurricane Michael, and everybody from Panama City just flooded up. I made so much money after that hurricane.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's kind of funny that we've lived in an RV for 3 years.
Yeah.
We keep finding stuff breaks, and then you YouTube it or you contact your tech buddies, and they tell you how to do it. Like when our fridge went out, we're like, we know it has to go out the back window, but that sounds really daunting to take out an entire window and put a fridge out. And we're like, really? We took screws out, ran a thing around the outside to break the seal around the window, and it came out.
Yeah, the windows, you know, people think the windows are going to be some hard thing. They're really just, it's two clamshells that screw together, and the window is just squished onto the fiberglass.
Yeah. Hardest part was actually getting the fridge back level, and that's why it's still not back level. But it's staying in there. Yeah, I'll send you a picture when we're done. It's not screwed back on. That little bracket that they glue or whatever they do to the top of the fridge.
Oh, yeah.
To re-glue it with like liquid nails or something. No. We're driving down the road. It busted back free. I don't know.
It's character. It's character.
That's right. It's back where it is. Well, here's an interesting question. Do you guys have plans to be homesteading? All your talk about loving the land, tending to the grass.
See, here's the thing. I don't want to own the grass. I just want somebody else to give me money to cut the grass.
Right.
I've got to. I get a disability payment from the military, so really taking such a huge pay cut isn't such a big deal because Liz is making money.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm making money. Plus I have my disability. I mean, I don't need to be working. Like I don't need to work.
Right.
So it really does take all of the burden off with not making any money. But am I going to be homesteading? That is a good question. I don't have the answer. I don't know what I'm doing in 3 weeks from now. It's up in the air. You know that? Yeah, it's just everything is very up in the air right now.
Hey, this guy's in Waterbury, Connecticut.
How are you doing today? Looks like your wife is working today. So how are you doing? How are the kids? Well,
I'm good. Kids, how are you?
Good.
Natasha, she was here earlier.
I am well. My child is also still alive and has not, suffered any major injuries. All right, so here's a question for you.
All right.
What's the worst injury one of you guys has had since you've gotten the RV?
Worst injury.
Like RV-related injury.
Got any?
Having to replace the roof.
No. Injury on a person, not injury on
a person.
How about when everyone got sick?
Well, no. Probably just scraped up from stuff. Crawling under. I'm sure I've caused myself permanent brain damage by hitting my head on things. But
there's a door at my dad's house that it's where all his tools are, and I have to just drop down a little bit. And today I've walked into it again, and and the house is just so old and solid. It's just
yeah. But let's see. So we talked about the easiest thing someone could fix.
Easiest thing someone could fix. Anything.
Was the water heater, the furnace. We were changing tires, so we put our slide in, and when we pulled the slide back out and turned the water back on, it was like goosh, like water spraying everywhere. Like these water hoses underneath our slide here got punctured.
Nice.
We're like, okay, well, we can either dig it out and replace the entire line that goes behind the stove and all this craziness, or we could just splice some stuff together. Which is why I joke that if we ever sell the RV, we can't know the person we're selling it to, because you do kind of just patch some stuff together.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's still holding. And
you have to hack stuff together, because getting at everything is not always easy. I mean, some of the stuff is jammed in places where you're like, how am I supposed to even think about getting this out or get to it? I've got in the extreme back driver's side corner is where all of my electrical stuff is. Everything is in that back corner. But it's just like they took 10 pounds and shoved it in a 5-pound bag, and they were like, get in there, and then just like put down this hatch and then screwed it so it would stay, and then just they're like, all right, does it run? We're good.
Yes.
No, seriously, it's terrible. There's electrical equipment stacked on top of each other.
From the one that's by your bed. Was that you that was telling us the story of how you had to squeeze in there?
Oh boy,
between the bed and the wall, and you just had just enough room to move.
There wasn't enough room to move. There was enough room to breathe.
Yeah.
So in the back of our 32-foot Class C, the bed is on the slide.
Gotcha.
So the slide wouldn't come in, because later on, what we would find out is that there was wiring underneath the bed that had been squished and smeared, so it wasn't getting a good connection. But we found that out 3 years later. So we're trying to get the slide in and it won't go. So I unlock it and I start moving it, but then I'm running out of space, and it's like my arm is first my hand is under the slide, and then my arm is under the slide, and then my elbow's under the slide, and I'm like, I can't reach any further, and I'm trying to call out to Liz to give me different tools, and she can't find anything. She's Googling. She's over here Googling what is this tool? I don't know what it is. So, but she was because I was not in. I mean, I was all in sorts, and Liz was trying to hold it together to help me hold it together, because this is the day I got out of the Army. The day I did all of my paperwork for disability, this was a long day, and this was like 3 p.m. So it was just a disaster. And then like in between the bed and the wall is only like this wide. It's wide enough to like turn sideways and scooch like you're at a movie theater with a packed row.
Right.
It's just, and I'm in there all like turned sideways, trying to like reach in and turn, getting like 3 clicks at a time with the ratchet. I ended up using like a 3/8 ratchet, and I think it's like a 3/4 inch nut on the end of that. And I'm just like, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let me just.
Mythbusters.
No fun. Those bedroom slides, having to manually retract them, no fun.
No, that doesn't sound fun at all. So on the flip side, is there something you've seen in your tech days, or just something in general? People should not be touching. They should not be trying to fix themselves.
Don't touch your electricity, people. Let somebody else do it. If you have a knowledge of electricity, go for it. That's fine. But if you don't know electricity, don't try and splice stuff in. Don't try and mess with the power. The 12 volt or 120, just don't touch it. Call somebody else. If you don't understand, just call somebody else.
Yeah. The other day in one of the live shows somebody was doing, they were talking about electricity. And I was like, you know what? That's the one thing we don't mess with. That maybe go call a professional. And then everybody started giving me guff like, oh, come on, Bill doesn't trust us with them. Like, hey, I don't mess with electricity, man. If you're going to give somebody advice and then their RV burns down, that's not going to feel good.
That's the thing. Like, electricity is super dangerous. And the average person doesn't have the training to properly diagnose and to properly troubleshoot and to properly fix most electrical issues. Because a lot of the electrical in the RVs is buried in the wall. It's somewhere in a cumbersome location. Nothing's easy to get to. Nothing is packaged well. Everything is in a terrible spot. It's like trying to pack up all your presents after Christmas. You've got all these boxes, and you're like, I don't know what to do with it, and just like throw it all in a garbage bag and heft it over your shoulder. That's what they do with an RV. They don't follow the laws. I mean, it's electricity. Don't touch it.
What about solar? Can I install that myself?
Solar you can install yourself because it's only 12 volt. Follow the instructions. There's so much information about solar. I don't know anything about solar. I'm big into the generator proponent. I think a small whisper quiet generator is way more effective than solar any day, but that's an argument that I'm going to lose, so I don't even bother with it.
I got that on my list too. I love arguments.
Mm.
What's the craziest thing you ever saw in your days being a tech?
On an RV?
Sure.
I didn't really see that much crazy stuff. I saw a roof the first job I ever did for somebody else on an RV was when I was still in school. There was a lady at the park that I was staying at, and her roof was so rotten that like when we got up there were like 3 spots that we could stand. And what we did is we just die-cored a bunch of plywood to her roof so it would be, lasting another couple of years. Then we screwed it down and, found hard spots and it was a total hack job. But that was probably the worst job that I've had. Honestly, if the job was too bad, I didn't take it.
Right.
I'm really pick and choosy. Like anything, like I would talk people out of doing things they didn't need to do. Like there was one guy who he had cable pull black tank things, and the cable was getting tight, and I was like, look, I'm not taking that apart to change it because there's 2 different styles. There's one that you can change the cable end, and there's one that you cannot, and he obviously had the one that you can't.
Of course.
So I was like, look, I'm not cutting this apart to do it. I was like, I'll swedge the thing back on before I do it. Yeah, and so we went back and forth for a while, but I was like, look, if I'm not cutting it up, I'm not breaking open your poo pipe just so that you can have a better pull on your poo handle. No, I will walk away from this job. I've had to walk away from jobs.
Yeah.
But I've had some really good ones too.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the beauty of being your mobile tech, sort of, right? So.
In most parks, everybody knows each other. Like a lot of these parks, it's more like residential instead of like a park anymore. And so everybody knows each other. So as soon as you get there, other people start showing up, and they're like, "Hey, when you're done, can you come over here and check out my RV? I got a problem too." They just get all everybody, and then you can really traveling in an RV. You can make a killing just in RV parks that you stay at. Like you don't even have to leave the park. You can make a killing.
So over here, all you need is a sign on your truck, or even, like you said, somebody sees you working on something, and then
all I bought when I started, I bought 200 business cards, 5 T-shirts, and a yard sign. That's it. That's that. I spent $200 on advertising.
Yep.
And I mean, there were some times where I made killer money. There were other times where it was like, man.
Right. Yeah, it's perfect. Like we're friends with, like Two Beards and a Babe, Todd. They do the NRVTA in Texas.
Yep.
And then you went to a training in
I went to
Florida.
Palmetto, Florida. Yep.
Yep. So there's more than, is there like a standard that's like known that's the place to go?
Well, everybody who goes to a school is always going to be, all about their alma mater. Right. Each one has their own benefits. The one in Texas is really short, and a lot of times at the Texas class, that it's really short, and they get to show you everything on your own coach because they have campsites there. So, I mean, if that's your thing. Then the 2 that are down in Florida, there's one in Largo, which Largo's kind of in the hood, but they've got a lot of really good equipment there. They've got a lot of RVs indoors, so you can work on those RVs, but they've been worked on by so many people, there's no real ways to trick you with, any kind of troubleshooting because you can tell what's out of place. Right. Well, some people can. And then RVSA, what their big thing is they break down each one of the different appliances separately. So we went through water heaters, and then we went through furnaces, and then we went through refrigerators and air conditioners, and we did everything separately outside of the RV. They had like a whole stockpile of appliances in the back that we would just go and get the next appliance, and we would learn that one. We would take it apart, troubleshoot, learn how it works. So that's what I liked about that class. I like the hands-on. I can't speak for the other 2 classes, but honestly, we need as many techs in the industry as possible. So I'll promote all of them. If you can afford to go to a school, you will make money.
Yep. Yeah, we've hung out in Athens, Texas with Todd and all that. We've seen the classrooms, and yet that looks like they have everything. They have fridges lined up and all that to work on too. And I know that our friend Garrett from Diary of a Family, he's actually going to go through that class. But it sounds amazing, and it sometimes it sounds expensive, but I guess if you're going to make that back, probably relatively quick.
Well, so how much does it cost an hour to leave your rig at Camping World? Like if you're going to have Camping World fix your rig, how much does it cost now? Like $135 or something like that?
Yeah. Yep.
The class that I went to was $6,000.
Mm-hmm.
How quickly could you make that back at $135 an hour?
Right.
That's pretty quick. So, I mean, within the first month and a half or 2 months, you could pay off the class.
Yep.
So, and it's a simple class with simple tools. It's just familiarization. So really, anybody can go through this class, even if you only learn to save yourself money on bills later.
Yep.
You know, I've seen some people go through the class just so that they don't have to pay a tech later.
Yep. Got any tips for Scott here? Scott Jacobs? Quieting down an air-cooled generator.
Shut it off and get a Honda.
Uh-oh.
No, those things are loud. They're loud. They suck on fuel. They're inefficient. They smell bad. The Onins, they're good for what they are. It's an inexpensive power plant. It's an inexpensive American-made power plant. On that note, the Honda, the Predator, any of them, as long as you have enough amperage pushing out of the generator, anything's going to be quieter than that Onin 4. Anything is going to be quieter than that. You could get outside and push, like pedal on a bicycle, on a treadmill, and it would be less annoying than hearing an Onin. They're just loud, they're cheap, and all these manufacturers, they make the harness for them. So all they have to do is just throw it in the RV, wire it up real quick, and it's done. It's a simple piece, and not everybody uses their generator. Our generator has like 400 hours on it. It's an 07.
What do you have?
There should be more hours on that just from exercising the generator, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, some people just don't use their generators.
Right. My parents never did.
Yeah.
That's why theirs wouldn't start.
You know what? The best way to quiet down an Onin generator, I'll tell you how. There's 4 bolts that hold the generator. You can unbolt those, drop the generator out, sell it to somebody, because it's actually a very sought-after generator, and you can sell it. And then you make a box that you can put a bigger battery bank in your coach, and then also 2 Honda generators. That's how you make your Onin quieter. And you could probably sell, if it's a low-hour, decent-shape Onin generator, you could probably sell it for close to what it's going to cost to build the other setup.
Huh.
And you can parallel 2 generators and then have it just... Is that my RV? No, it's birds. No, they're quiet. They're quiet, and you can put it on a long cord, and it'll be far away.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. We filled an hour. I don't know if I had anything else really pressing.
Any more questions?
If anybody has any more questions, also, yes, thank you. Nettie did make it here. There's a link in there. People can click to just head right to the next live. We're part of this whole circle, Ed, that is RV YouTubers, and yeah, everybody has this hour time slot. They don't have to, but most people try not to step on the next person's toes. So we got our hour time slot, and then we pass it off, and we all support one another, which was why I was asking if you had anything to support. But yeah, besides the Tales of the Black Tank book.
Yep, Tales of the Black Tank, Fix It Yourself. I've been a real big fan of drinking Polar Seltzer lately. I don't know if that's like a shameless promotion, but I have found that the seltzer has actually made me feel much better than soda. So if you're on a journey to feel better and you want to cut soda out, try the seltzer.
There you go. And a Connecticut lobster roll and some New Haven pizza while you're at it.
There you go. Maybe a Mucky's hot dog.
Perfect. We never had that. But yes, thank you so much, Ed, for coming on here.
Oh, thank you for having me. If you guys want to have me again, let me know.
I think I was more than mildly entertained myself. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. Let me do our deal here. If you're still here, we have our stickers. Natasha's going to kill me that I didn't do this earlier. If you want a sticker from us, send us an email at nursingourtravelbug@gmail.com.
What do the stickers
will-
do? They look like the background behind you over your shoulder?
Yes,
That's what the sticker looks like?
it is.
Are they're vinyl stickers though, right?
They are. I think they're 3-inch stickers. They were actually designed by another YouTuber, One Strange Adventure. So be happy to send you one. Looks like everybody's heading over already to the next show. I'll end this one, and then I'll say goodbye to you. And all right, everyone, take care. We'll see you next week.
I dare to put it up.
I dare you to put it up.